Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 5 of Organic Matters, the podcast brought to you by the Irish Organic Association. It is a glorious day here in County Laois and the birds are singing. I'm here with farmer Ruth Young. Ruth, thank you very much for being the first participant of Season 5.
You're very welcome, Hannah. Delighted to have you here in Coolfin.
And we have a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about a shed with the lieback area that you've developed. We're going to talk about, I think, an EIP that you're in and your journey as well, because you say that you inherited the farm 12 years ago. So there's a lot to touch upon. But I think we'll get down to the cattle since they're here standing in front of us. So explain everyone maybe just a little bit about the farm, kind of roughly maybe what size it is and what kind of enterprise you're involved in.
Yeah, well, the farm, we're located here in County Laois and it comprises of about 90 hectares. Just over 11 is in forestry. It's predominantly, luckily enough, free draining land. There is some heavy land as well. And we're organic since went into conversion in 2021. And our main enterprise is beef finishing. We buy in at around 12 months of age, give or take. And then we finish them to beef, sell to the good herdsman. So that's our main enterprise.
And are you finishing them all off grass, and what age roughly are you aiming for?
Yeah, they are completely grass fed. There's no meal bought in here at all. So yeah, and we're finishing at, well, last year we finished at 25 months and they averaged just short of 380 kilos carcass weight. And they were predominantly about 80% ore grade and 80% 3 fat score as well. So yeah, the grass.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, for anyone who doesn't know, there's kind of roughly speaking a Europe style of grading. So P is the lowest and R is essentially the highest. Really, I mean, that's really, really good.
Yeah, well, we'd have then probably equal number of U's, which is higher again, and O's, which is lower again. But on average, we're grading at around 80% at an R3 for anyone that would be happy. We would be happy with that. So we buy in our stock. We buy them in around 12 months of age, as I said, and we source from farmers and from the marts. Mm-hmm. So initially, when we changed to organics, you know, we found it quite difficult. We would, when we were farming conventionally, we would have just go to the local mart. You could nip in at lunchtime, buy your cattle and have them home that evening. But then in 2021, when we started trying to source organically, at that time we found we were travelling maybe to get cattle from Drumshanbo, and it's quite a distance from here. But we did source some, we did build up a relationship with some farmers, and we do go back to them each year. And then we find that there are more marts now coming on stream, and we feel there's more organic cattle available to us. So that is kind of all settled down. And early in the year, I often wonder how are we going to get all our cattle, but they arrive. So yeah, there's no rush and there is no panic.
How many are you aiming to get roughly each year?
Yeah, well, what we do is we buy in at the 12 months, and we buy in roughly 50 plus. Yeah. And then also we finish 50 plus. So April, May time, we could have up to 100 cattle on the farm. And then we start selling the first lot off end of May, beginning of June, early July, early August, and then we'd have a few stragglers for later in the autumn. And that's and then we'd overwinter the younger stock we bought in. But we like buying in the spring because we just feel we can give them the benefit of the grass here, get a good thrive on them, and then we winter mostly in our shed, and we did outwinter a few there this year.
And I see very caramel coloured bullocks, and I think is there some heifers there?
No,
they're all bullocks.
Yeah.
So are you aiming for kind of continental style kind of bullocks, or do you do any heifers as well?
It's all bullocks.
Yeah, keeps it simple.
It's all bullocks, exactly. That's part of our we try to keep everything as simple as possible. Yeah. No point in overcomplicating things. But it's all bullocks. As it happens here, these are just 5 we just bought in the last 2 weeks that we're looking at. They're Charolais crosses, but we have in the herd we have every breed. We have Angus, we have Limousin, we have Speckled Park, we have Shorthorn, we have Hereford. We have every breed. We
the rainbow.
We have the rainbow. Yeah. So,
I mean, it sounds like for someone listening now, like you're very on the ball with your carcass weights, your grading. You've streamlined the system. It sounds like you know when you're finishing. But has it always been like that?
Oh no, definitely not.
Give some people hope out there if they're still finding their feet.
No, it's this has been a really steep learning curve for us. I come from a farming background. I grew up on a dairy farm. But I went off and we did my own thing, and we ran our own business for 30 years. Then we inherited this farm 12 years ago, and then we had to pretty much learn from scratch. So it wasn't always this. I didn't know anything about a grade. I didn't know anything about a fat score. I didn't know anything about grass management. I didn't even know what way we were going to farm or how things would evolve. So no, learnt it all from scratch. Just getting out there and, going to farm walks, going to discussion groups. And initially it was like through Tagus, like going to, I was part of a Grass 10 group. I was part of a beef knowledge transfer group. And then I kind of always knew in the back of my mind that the organic thing was there. I always felt a pull to organics. Don't know why. Could have been something to do with the chemicals. I'm not sure. But I always felt that pull. And in 2019, I did the Principles of Organics course. I did that first before we ever applied. And then the scheme didn't open until 2021. And that's when then we applied for the organic scheme. And then we started our conversion in April 2021. And that's... I remember the feeling. Now I'm in organic conversion. This is what I wanted, but I felt I hadn't got a clue. I said, "What do I do now?" I just felt I don't know anything about organics really. I did the principles course, and obviously I learned from that, but really hands on, day to day, I didn't know anything about it. And it was during COVID as well, so there were no farm walks and there were no courses or whatever going on, face to face. And that's when I came across NOTS, the National Organic Training Skill Net. And they have been, they've been brilliant. They've had so many courses and just wonderful place to go and find something. And that's probably,
And to meet like-minded people, I think, is important as well. And that community, that organic community.
Yeah. Like I won't lie. While I went and did all my courses, back in the day when we were conventional, I did feel I just was of a different mindset. I just wasn't really getting all the fertilizer, spraying the weeds. I just wasn't really getting it, I knew I was going and I was learning, but it wasn't really for me. And it just wasn't until I fell into all the organic and doing those courses and those events with NOTS that I really, I suppose, I just came across people who did inspire me. And I suppose people that just all like-minded people. It was just wonderful. It was just, instead of feeling you were swimming against the tide, now I felt I was swimming with the tide, and it was just brilliant. It was just, I'd always come home just so happy and just feel that we found the path we want to take.
That's amazing. We're going to keep strolling on now, because I know people and sheds, it can be a bit of an obsession for them. So we'll go down and we'll talk about the lie-back area next. Ruth, we've just stepped into the shed here, and I know one thing that challenges a lot of people sometimes, or puts them off organics, is the idea, the fact that they have to have a lie-back area for their cattle. And if they have slatted housing, there has to be a straw lie-back area. How did you find incorporating or building this lie-back area into your slatted area?
Well, first of all, I suppose it was the only probably structural change we had to make to go into organics. We availed of TAMS grant. We decided we'd go down that road because we were getting a 60% grant. So, yeah, so it was, I suppose maybe back then it wasn't quite as straightforward, but no, looking back, it was pretty straightforward. We got an architect to draw up the plans for it, and we applied for planning permission, and there were no issues there. Applied for a TAMS grant, and we got accepted. That was accepted. So,
And
yeah,
so essentially, I should say it's maybe a 4-bay. We could say, and so you must have. Do you have? Is it 4-bay slats inside here? So then you can just extend out, go from the slats, then straight
Absolutely.
out, and you have gates there that you can separate it in half if you need to as well. The straw area. So say if you had smaller cattle or something like that, you could separate the bigger and the smaller ones.
Yeah.
So it is quite simple, but it's it's a lovely job because it's nice and high and well ventilated, and that's kind of important as well.
Find there's great air running through it.
They get hotter than you realise, cattle. Yeah,
they're very happy in it. And to be honest, I found the straw bed just coming off using slats. I just wonder how we ever did it. There's just, the cattle are just far happier.
Contentment.
So
Yeah,
content.
so
And I
content,
actually think they thrive better as well. And we're only feeding silage here. We don't feed any meal. So they're just ad lib silage. And give them a fresh bale of straw every day, and they get a fresh lie down every day. Probably clean out the shed maybe 4 times during the winter. Then we have the dung there for our own fertilizer, and very happy, very, very happy. It worked out really, really well.
Can I ask a ballpark on costs, because people are always concerned about that as well?
Yeah, I can't say exactly because I can't remember. All I know is we took out a loan. I'm thinking around 50,000, and then I can't say for sure, Hannah.
Yeah, but if 60% of that is covered, then that is helpful.
Yeah. No, I had a loan there. We had a loan of about 28,000, and we took that out in 2022, and now it'll be cleared this June. So, well worth it. Well worth it. Yeah. Delighted to have it. At the time, just a bit of working out and teasing out what we wanted and how to go about it. But no, we had a good builder and everything worked out great.
Yeah, and you have a nice way of kind of cleaning it out. You've kept all your gates and stuff very nice and wide. There are some elements as well that I know you wanted to touch upon. You're involved in EIP as well, which is an European Innovation Project. Partnership.
Yeah.
Thank you. What exactly is the EIP you're involved with, and what does it entail?
Yeah, the EIP I'm involved with, it's called Regen Ireland. It's made up of 24 farmers. There's 4 mentor farmers and then just 20 other farmers. Farmers that are conventional and organic. They're from dairy, tillage, sheep, beef backgrounds. And we're a bunch of farmers who are on a regenerative journey. We want to try something different, and we're focusing in on our soils. Some farms are just putting in a small portion and trialling a small portion. And then for us here, we're already doing holistic plan grazing. It's going into year 4 now. So we've started on that journey, but it's making us focus more. And I suppose it's all about capturing. What it's basically about is we're trying to capture as much sunlight as possible by living plants, green living plants, and that's closing down the carbon cycle into the soil. So it's all about growing more grass, and I suppose we grow our grass in general. I'm trying to grow it a little higher this year. I'm trying to leave more of a residual. I'm leaving a heavier residual when I'm taking the cattle away. And it's all about just regenerating, that we can get a good, healthy diversity back in our swards as well, naturally. So we're just all trying to do something a little bit different, and we just trial. We have a trial plot. Like I've just picked a field. We all pick a field to trial and collect data from, because it's no good if we don't collect the information from it. So, and then a lot of it is education based, where we have access to so much learning, and I suppose we would have, access to the likes of Gabe Brown and Alan Williams from Understanding Ag in America, Understanding Ag in the UK. And then there's a man called Jonathan Lundgren, who is coming over, and he is going to help us collect data from our farms, baseline data, and then have a measure again maybe in year 4 of the EIP.
Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, I really enjoy it. Yeah, it's really interesting. So much to learn, access to so much knowledge, and then putting it into practice. Yeah. That's what we have to do. Yeah.
We're coming towards the end of the podcast. I'm wondering if you have any advice for any other organic farmers out there, any kind of thoughts that you've had that might help other people.
I would say keep your mind open. I would say just go to different things, and just one day just something will say, well, I want to give that a go. Just try different things, or keep going to I think talking to other farmers. That's where all the knowledge is. Be part of a discussion group. Just reach out, and you don't know, doors will open. And I really enjoy what I'm doing, and it's bit by just as I've gone along, things have evolved, and I suppose certain things have inspired me, and just been willing to give things a go and have an open mind. I think that's the advice I would give.
Ruth, thank you very much for that. For anyone listening, you've been listening to Organic Matters, the podcast brought to you by the Irish Organic Association. For more on organics, you can go to www.irishodganicassociation.ie. And as mentioned, this is just the first in season 5 of Organic Matters, so we have lots more podcasts there if you can find wherever you get your podcasts. But for me, Hannah Quinn Mulligan, thank you very much, and we'll be back again in 2 weeks with another podcast.